immunity team, malakas pa yung kanilang alliance, baka hindi pa ako makalabas ngayon.
Duterte! Marcos Jr.
It's now a choice between these two camps.
Pag pinatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Araneta, at si Martin Romualdez. No joke.
Yung ganyang kriminal na pagtatangka ay hindi dapat pinapalampas. Yan ay aking papalagan.
And many think that the greater evil are the Dutertes. Kaya, ang mga police, yung mga death squads na yan, hindi sila yung mag-judge kung guilty or not. Yung mga suspects, hihintayin nyo pa ba na may mabibiktima sa pamilya nyo na ganun din?
From newsroom to screen, the Philippine Star continues to deliver stories that matter. Welcome to Truth on the Line, the Philippine Star's pioneer news and current affairs show. I am Ami Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. Joining us here today is former Senator Laila De Lima. Good morning, Senator De Lima. Welcome to the Philippine Star.
Good morning, Anna Marie. And well, it's my first time here at Philippine
Yes,
Star,
yes.
so I'm looking forward to this interview actually. Lalo nang I learned that this is a relatively new show of yours.
Yes.
Congratulations for this new
You're the
show.
first in-person guest.
Oh, I see.
Tatanungin ko, because yung pinaka-latest ninyong event was being the seatmate of Rodrigo Duterte.
Oo nga. Nauna akong dumating doon. I came ahead of him and I saw nga our nameplates being side by side.
Hindi mo pinalipat?
No, I didn't say anything. I did not react.
Yeah, okay.
I just thought, I was thinking, kanino kayang idea to?
Oo nga, ano?
And then I was also thinking, baka sinadya. Na,
Baka sinadya.
na magkatabi kami. So yun, and then dumating nga siya, pero hindi kami nagpapansinan.
He didn't say anything to you?
No, he didn't say anything to me, and he was hardly looking at me. Pasilip-silip lang, I think, kung hindi ako nakatingin, sabi nila, ako rin, pasilip-silip lang ako kung pag ganun-ganun lang
Ako,
ako.
nakikita ka namin.
Yes, until those spectacles happened.
The next to interpolate is Congressman.
Ganon
Muntik
niya
na.
sa akin, and then yung he was attempting to throw the microphone kay Senator Sani Trillanes.
That it be signed today instead of tomorrow. Will you be fine with that, Mr. President?
Anong kapalit, sir?
Hindi.
Sampalin ko siya sa publiko.
Hindi. Wala naman.
Ngayon na.
Wala pong ganunan.
Mr. Chairman.
I'll give you, sasampalin ko sa
Mr. Chairman.
Session
Session suspended.
Sabi.
So yun, and then after that incident, actually, somebody from the secretariat approached me. Ma'am, baka gusto niyo
Yes,
na
we saw that.
lumipat. Sabi ko, no, it's okay. Baka kasi isipin, takot ako. And by the way, yung ano na yun, yung gesture na yun, yung clenched fist na about yung gusto akong ano. I didn't see that actually because I was looking at the chairpersons of the
Yes.
Quadcom. Kaya lang friends were texting
Yeah,
me.
we saw it.
We're texting me and sabi, did you see that? Did you see that? Sabi ko, what? So they sent the video clip of that. Sabi ko lang nalaman na he did that. But
Ano
I kept
reaction?
my cool. I was just thinking, ano kayang gagawin ko kung tinuloy niya yon? I wasn't sure
He
what to
never
do.
said a word. You were there bali half a day na yun. kayo
No,
magkasama.
beyond the yung mga speaking about certain matters na nagre-react din siya. Oh, walang ganon, She never said anything to me. He pretended not to notice me.
I'm asking about Duterte, of course, because we all know na siya ang dahilan for you spending 6 years,
Almost 7 years.
almost 7 years
Yes.
in jail. What was the experience like?
Oh, It was, of course, difficult. It's difficult to
Yes.
be detained or to be jailed, especially if you're innocent. But I had to really endure it. I was very conscious of the reasons why they did that to me. First, that they wanted to silence me because of my open and fiery criticism of the drug war killings. I initiated the Senate investigation, only to be ousted by the majority of my colleagues in the Senate after holding just 3 hearings and after I presented Edgar Matobato. Yun, inalis na ako by the majority. It was, and then the second reason is they wanted to break my spirit. And I was very conscious of that. Talagang pinakita ko na malakas pa ako, even if it was so painful. And then, of course, third, I thought that it was done to me to make an example out of me para yung iba matakot na rin. And that's exactly what happened. Most of the politicians then, in 2016, 2017, just kept quiet about this drug war killings. Konti lang yung mga kasamahan ko noon na, defending me and also agreeing with my stance in opposing. It was difficult. I had to adopt a daily routine para lang meron talaga akong ginagawa. Physical, mental, para maiwasan yung depression ko. And I was deprived of, the use of cell phone and any electronic gadget. Wala. So back to handwriting ako. Nakikita nyo naman siguro yung mga dispatches ko noon. And then I would also write handwritten mga letters to friends, birthday greetings, mga congratulatory letters or condolence letters. Among the painful moments is that kapag may namamatay na mag-anak and also allies. My sister-in-law, my only sister-in-law, died when I was still in jail. President Pinoy, Secretary Dinky Soliman, Secretary Mon Jimenez, and also Chair Karina David. They passed away while I was in detention. It was so difficult for me. Umiiyak na lang ako noon kasi I could not even pay my last respects sa wake nila kasi hindi naman ako pinayagan. So those are difficult moments. And of course, missing personal and family milestones, like the graduation of my second son from law. I asked permission from the courts, but the courts denied it. So mga ganon, those are, and my years there in detention, those are my prime years. I was not yet senior citizen when nung nakulong ako, 57 ako noon, and then I turned senior citizen while there.
Senior moment ka na.
Senior moments na.
Well, you're talking about difficult moments. What was the worst? If there's any worst?
Well, I cannot really pinpoint to what was worse, but all that, yung tungkol nga doon sa hindi ako makapagbisita sa mga wake ng mga namatay, ng mga close sa akin, and then of course my mom who's bedridden. Before ako nakulong, hindi pa siya bedridden. Pero nung nakulong na ako, naging bedridden na siya, and then she turned semi-demented. So until now, she's bedridden. And she never knew about what happened to me. My siblings decided not to tell her kasi baka lumala pa. Kasi ngayon na, she's now 92 years old. She remains to be bedridden there in our house at Iriga City, Camarines Sur. So I intend to visit her again this coming Christmas. So mahirap yun kasi hindi nakakabisita yung mami ko. And because in the first place, she didn't know. Ang sinabi lang ng aking mga kapatid that I went to the US for advanced study. So it was painful. It was painful for the family.
Nung nakalaya ka,
Last November 2023.
you were telling us, nung nakalaya ka, you are planning to go after those who wrongly prosecuted you.
Yes.
How is that coming along? Tuloy pa
Okay.
ba yun?
Yes, itutuloy talaga yon. It's just that my lawyers are being careful about the preparations and about the actual cases, what kind of cases we need to file. Kasi madali namang gumawa ng complaint. Kaya lang yung mga supporting evidence, medyo kulang pa. Kasi first, we have to talk to those believed inmates, yung mga nag-testify nung una, and then binawi nila saying that they were coerced.
Yes.
They were afraid of the safety of their family especially. So, pinahihirapan pa kaming yung lawyers ko, nahihirapan pang mag-access dun sa mga witnesses na yon because they're not anymore in Mandaluyong, in the New Bilibid prison.
Yes, they're in-
Nandun na sila sa Mindoro, sa isang
Sablayan.
sa penal colony, sa Sablayan. So nahihirapan pa doon kasi yung 2 or 3 of them meron na silang statements but the rest wala pa. And also yung kung sino-sino exactly yung mga kakasuhan. Definitely former President Duterte will be one of them. Former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre because he was the chief enforcer of the persecution.
Imbestigan muna natin, pakinggan ninyo at yung mismong mga inmates ang magdideklara na sila ay inoferan ng 100 million para lamang bawiin yung statement nila kay Senator De Lima.
And then a few others, yung mga na-identify namin,
Yung mga
na
nag-retract, hindi na.
pinag-iisipan pa yan. Because, we can actually file cases against them also initially, but later, ay gagawing state witnesses ng prosecution. It all depends on the prosecution kung qualified sila to be state witnesses. And
Si Herbert ko lang yung hindi nag-retract, di ba? So sigurado ba siya? Dapat sama?
yes, kasama siya. Hindi pa namin talaga totally alam kung talagang hindi siya magre-retract or not. Pero at the time nung nakalaya ako, hindi pa. So we're still trying to find out sino-sino pa talaga yung talagang pwede nakasuhan. And then secondly, sino-sino yung kukunan namin ng mga affidavits. Meron ng mga nakausap din na ilan-ilan yung legal team ko. So they're now preparing those.
Have you talked personally to some of these people who testified against you? Because some of them are close to you.
No, si former OIC, Newport
Ragos.
Director, si Ragos,
Yes.
yung isa sa mga unang nag-retract. Once, nakausap ko siya.
He apologized.
Yes, nag-apologize talaga siya. Doon pa lang sa, nung nagsalubong kami in one of the last hearings in the court, yung nung sa 2023 na-acquit ako. I was acquitted in that case because of, nag-retract nga siya because he was the chief witness there. Yung sinasabing naghatid daw ng pera sa bahay on 2 occasions. So he retracted that. Talaga namang hindi nangyari yun. So doon pa lang, nag-apologize na siya. And then I'm not sure if it was 2 months ago, nakita ko siya. And ganun, we talked. And he's willing to testify dyan sa mga cases na ipa-file namin.
Before you ended up in jail, of course, were you cooperating with the ICC?
Well, cooperating in this sense that I was always ready for them. I cannot really, I really cannot tell you. We're bound by confidentiality process. But definitely, I'm closely monitoring the case.
Are you privy to what's happening now? Because of course, everyone is waiting for an arrest warrant. Hintayin natin, dapat noong September pa
Yes,
yun.
some information. Yes, I have some information that, malaking tulong yung mga open, mga admissions under oath ni former President, both in the Senate and the House of Representatives sa Quadcom hearing. Inulit na naman niya yung kanyang mga admissions.
Matagal ako pumapatay ng tao hanggang ngayon hindi pa sila nakapile ng kaso?
Mr. Chair, another addition to the list that's growing by the minute.
Definitely ICC got that. Talagang kasama na yan sa kanilang kaso. Yung mga open court admissions ni Mr.
Hindi
Duterte.
ba nagpabalik-baliktad siya? Doesn't that count? Medyo kumakambyo siya, di ba? Pinatay ko to, tapos kakambyo siya, tapos eto, we're not even sure kung ilan yung sinasabi niyang members ng Davao Death Squad, hindi ba? Medyo hindi siya
That's part of
consistent.
the assessment. But malaking tulong yun in the sense na dati kasi yung ibang mga sinabi niya, both sa Senate and sa Quadcom hearings, is that dati na natin naririnig yon sa mga mga public appearances niya as president and even after his term. Pero first time lang nga may admission under oath. So that should be considered as binding sa kanya. Let him explain yung mga pagbabalik-baliktad niya. But I'm sure kasama yan sa ng ICC. That's a significant factor na narinig nila.
under this new administration, according to the surveys,
Oo.
malaki nang binagsak ng support for the Dutertes, including
Sa
Rodrigo Duterte, no?
Yes, yes.
Pero nandun pa rin, they still have a mass support yung style nila ng law enforcement, shortcuts to justice, being a former Secretary of Justice
Mhm.
and Commissioner of Human Rights.
Mhm.
Anong tingin niyo dito? Why is it, ang mga tao sinasabi it's because of our weak criminal justice system, corrupted daw, heavily politicized, inefficient, very slow.
Yes.
What do you think of this?
We cannot blame the people in having that negative perception of the justice system. Kasi may mga ilan-ilan naman talaga mga kaso that we can say that the justice system seems to be not working. And then, kaya nga, we always say that the best hope for the families of the victims of the drug war killings is still the ICC. Kasi okay yung mga nakikita ngayon natin, yung mga revelations ngayon sa Quadcom hearings na talaga namang maraming nanonood. And okay yon. And then, but then again, remember that Congress has no power to prosecute. It can only propose legislations, pass legislations related to sa mga naging findings nila, like the filing of the anti-EJK bill. Malaking bagay yan. But hanggang dun lang, and then recommendatory lang. So it's still with the criminal justice system, kasama dyan ng DOJ, kasama yan dyan ng courts. And of course, there is this special task force that was created by Secretary Remulla, ng DOJ task force, which was given 60 days. Malapit na nga siguro mag-expire yung period na yon. Let's see kung ano yung mga magiging conclusions, findings, whether partial or final findings. Now, kasi ang expectation natin is that the DOJ task force would reveal findings to us that would be the basis also of the prosecution of those involved. And we hope na kasama nga doon si former President Duterte and former PNP chief now, Senator Bato de la Rosa.
Paano naman yan? That's what I'm asking you. Kasi sabi nila, the circumstances that created the Rodrigo Duterte and built that kind of support for him, nandito pa rin What can be done? In fact, we talked to Senator Bato de la Rosa. I asked him, any regrets on the Oplan, Tokang, and Double Barrel? Sabi niya, no. And he will do it now
It's
again,
terrible.
if given the chance.
If you want to succeed, ganun lang talaga yan. It's either pumili ka, banggain mo yung problema sa droga or hindi mo banggain. Dalawa lang yan. Pag binangga mo yan, meron talaga mangyayari na mga di ka nais-nais. And it's up for you, for that government to address the wrongdoings na ginagawa ng mga abusado. Dapat aksyonan talaga yon.
It's terrible. The instant justice and an affront. Those are rule of law. Affront on mga constitutional principles, the Bill of Rights, presumption of innocence, and yun na nga, dapat dumaan sa tamang proseso.
Paano ako yung proseso? Will take 25 years.
Correct. So that something must be done. Well, the Supreme Court from time to time would issue certain circulars how to speed up. Di ba meron nga yung continuous trial?
Yes.
But in many cases, hindi naman nasusunod. It has become, it's being followed more on the breach rather than really in compliance. Another example, perfect example are my cases.
Yes,
It took
exactly.
almost 7 years. Na
Yes.
dapat continuous trial yun. Pero for
Exactly.
certain reasons, lalo na yung mga successive inhibitions of the handling judges, yung mga unang nag-handle, mga nag-exit sila, and then every time they inhibit or they opted for early retirement, ay syempre i-raffle yung kaso, and then the new judge or judges would need time
Did you
to
actually
review.
invoke?
It is only through that yung kailangan swift and justice.
Yes.
But in being fast, wag naman kakalimutan na you're equally causing injustice if you prosecute innocent people. Like what happened to me. It's also a case of injustice.
I'm going to ask you about that sa next phase natin. But tanungin ko muna because you originally told us you weren't planning to run in
Yeah.
2025. What made you change your
Okay.
mind?
I-file na namin yung aming CONCAC, kaming mga nominees ng Mamamayang Liberal or ML. Talagang wala talaga akong plano for next year. I thought babalik lang ako sa private law practice ko or sa teaching. But then, may ikot-ikot ako because I was advised by the LP presidency and Congressman Ed Selagman. Now, whether or not you're going to run, you better go around the country and tell your story directly to the people, lalo na sa mga estudyante. Sa pag-iikot ko, people will always ask, Ma'am, di ko ba kayo babalik sa Senate? Ganyan. Pero Senate lang lagi ang sinasabi nila.
dating senator.
Sabi ko, hindi, wala talaga. Pero sa LP kasi, yung ML, nung nag-grant yung accreditation by the COMELEC for the first time, it was only last July of this year na na-accredit, first time din magpa-participate, naisipan ng mga taga-ML, ang president ng ML is former Congressman Ted Paguila, the number 2 nominee now of ML. ML is Mamamayan Liberal.
Yeah, Mamamayan
Mamamayan
Liberal.
Liberal. That is the
Okay.
multi-sectoral arm or wing of the LP.
Okay.
So nung na-grant ngayon, they were malapit na yung filing ng COC. They talked to me. And sabi, Laila, why don't you be a part of the ML? Since ML is a new party list, we have to start strong. And you know naman, yung personality-based ang ng voters, yung psyche ng voters. Kahit titingnan talaga nila yung listahan
Kaya kailangan ka doon.
ng nominees, kung kilala ba o hindi. So I agreed. And also I thought na tamang-tama, since we'll be working closely now with the marginalized sectors. So aligned yan doon sa, ko talaga, for social justice also. Sa iba-ibang sektor, iba-iba yung attributes nila and aspirations, but merong isang ideal that would really bind them, and that is social justice. And naalala nyo, Ana Marie, I was the Senate Committee, the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Social Justice, Rural Welfare and Development, aside from Justice and Human Rights. Natanggal ako doon sa Justice and Human Rights, pero I remained to be the chairperson of the Social Justice Committee. And as such, ako yung naging principal author ng 4-Piece Law and also the Magna Carta of the Poor. These are social justice legislations. O sabi ko, tamang-tama. Then yung experience ko doon, pwede kong gamitin para makatulong pa sa mga marginalized sectors. And also I was thinking, whether it's House of Representatives or the Senate, pareho lang in terms of giving the platform to pursue your advocacies. At nakikita ko ngayon, parang mas active na ngayon yung House of Representatives. Mas marami nang nanonood ng mga hearings ng mga House of Representatives. And there are more members that are stepping up, shining. Of course, the likes of Congresswoman Luis Tro and then some young guns.
You were talking about social injustice. Mainit na topic ngayon, of course, is a victim of, poverty, which stems, of course, from injustice. Si Mary Jane Veloso, she's back in the Philippines, and I understand you had a role
Oh, yes.
in seeking clemency during the time of President Noynoy
Yeah,
Aquino.
staying the execution last
staying
minute.
Last minute talaga, 11th
Yes.
hour. Can you
Yes.
tell us something about it?
Okay, first, ang nakakaalam ng istorya, apat lang kami. Former President Pinoy, former DFA Secretary Albert Del Rosario. So both of them are gone. So dalawa na lang kami. And the privy, yung nangyari, the other one is the former Cabinet Secretary to the yung Cabinet Secretary na si Secretary Rene Almendras.
Okay.
So kami. Ang maalala ko noon is that, of course, kasi 2010 nga nahuli si Mary Jane. And there were attempts before 2015, meron din attempts si President Pinoy na sumulat siya noon kay former President Widodo.
The hardliner si President Widodo.
Si President Widodo. So certain efforts were being done because President Pinoy really, really wanted na may magawa to save really
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane. So there was this summit in Malaysia nung before December 15.
Yes.
At doon din yung sa President Widodo. And then wala talaga yung mga efforts nila, even the efforts of the DFA, walang nangyayari. So naging frantic din sila President Pinoy. And then ano pa kaya ang pwede nating gawin? Anong pwede natin sabihin sa kanila? Kasi they're very strict about it. Talagang in-execute talaga nila yung mga convicted of drug-related charges. Hindi pa daw nangyari yon na na-stay yung execution. But then, nung December 15 na nga, I remember tumatawag sila sa akin, lalo na si former Secretary Del Rosario.
Anniversary pa lang yun, buwan.
What can we do? Ganon. And then so, inano ko na, it's my idea, na since she is a witness, she can be a witness doon sa mga cases, yung illegal recruitment cases na itinile doon sa mga recruiters niya. So, pinastrack namin yun na mag-file talaga ng mga cases na yon. So, it is through legal route. And then, I was even directly coordinating with my counterpart in Indonesia. Yung yung justice minister nila doon. I wrote to him, and then we invoked, I think it was the mutual legal assistance treaty between the Philippines and the Indonesia, na pwede mag-render ng assistance to each other in terms of certain cases in their respective jurisdictions. And this time around, it's about now the illegal recruitment cases filed against those recruiters of Mary Jane.
Correct cases, Sean, or yung Mary Jane mismo. Kasi they were convicted on 3 other cases.
So, I don't remember anymore exactly. Ang naalala ko lang, yung illegal recruitment case. So, just in the nick of time. Kasi nung 6 ata sila na-execute on that early morning or past midnight.
Past midnight.
And naka-ano na nga siya, yung kanyang attire is already for that.
Dead woman walking na siya.
Yes, dead woman walking. So it was just in the nick of time. Nung inano namin, I wasn't sure anymore if it was President Pinoy himself or si DFA Secretary Del Rosario na. Yung nagpadala, yung nag-ano na, eto na yon. Eto na ang recommendation namin. And our Secretary of Justice and your Justice Minister have been coordinating with each other already. So they decided on the basis of that na stay muna. So last minute. But that's hanggang dun lang. So walang nakuhang mga executive clemency or commutation of sentence. We wanted sana, note natin yun, yung possible commutation of...
So Justice Minister to Justice Minister yan, not at Widodo's level. Kasi I remember almost 1 o'clock na yan. Talagang ako.
Hindi, yung pre is kami. Pero yung final, sila na, top level na.
President to president na.
Yes, president to president na. That's what I remember. Although the details, nung nandun sila sa Malaysia noon, ang nakakaalam is Secretary Rene Almendres because he was there. He was part of that trip na merong summit doon.
Who informed you na stay na yung execution? Kasi kami, standby kami dito Madaling araw.
Yeah, the next morning, si Secretary Albert Del Rosario. And then sabi, congratulations, Laila. We made it.
Si Pinoy, what did he say?
Of course, masaya siya. Although hindi ko na siya nakausap noon. A few days later na lang. And he was so relieved. Because talagang, hindi siya sumusuko. Baka meron pa tayong ibang mga paraan para we save anything that can save Mary Jane.
So, segue tayo ngayon because you are running for Congress. Sa pagkampanya niya, yung messaging has to be focused, And nakita naman natin yung performance over the past, I think, 3 elections. Medyo hindi maganda yung performance ng mga progressive. And you're identified with the pink and yellow.
Yeah.
Are you going to change your approach this time?
Yeah.
Kasi alam naman natin, yung mga botante natin na yun.
Yes.
Tanungin yun, what's in it for me? What can you give me? Ano ayuda ko? Ganun.
Yan talaga ang challenge namin, Kasi we have all of these ideals, visions. Ang approach namin is, since kasama din sa namin yung good governance, ini-explain namin yan sa kanila. Na kapag may good governance, less ang corruption, mababawasan ang corruption. Since less ang corruption, then there are more resources that can be allotted sa mga pangangailangan nila, sa mga marginalized sectors. So we always emphasize this na kasama yan sa daily life nyo yung good governance and even sa human rights na hindi ito malayo sa mga concerns nyo. Kasi nga unang-una kapag tama yung mga leader na mga binoboto natin magkakaroon ng good governance. Pag may good governance, less ang corruption. Pag less ang corruption, mas maraming pera na pwedeng ibigay sa mga pangangailangan nyo. And then yung human rights din, importante din yan. Kasi, may mga pamilya tayo, may mga anak tayo, pwede pa nga nabibiktima. And then, remember, sinasabi namin yan, human rights ay hindi lang naman civil and political rights, kundi economic, social, and cultural rights. Right to food, right to health, right to balanced ecology. These are also basic human rights. So, hindi malayo, konektado. Ina-explain, we try to explain that.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yes,
Sasabihin lang nila pare-pareho lang naman corrupt mga tao. At saka even the human rights, sinasabi nila, I heard this a lot during the previous administration. Mga pinapatay naman, mga troublemakers sa neighborhood namin. I heard that a lot actually. How do you deal with that kind of cynicism?
Ini-explain din namin na huwag niyong iisipin na porke yung mga pinapatay are supposedly mga masasamang tao, pero hindi naman totoo sa lahat. Meron naman talaga yung mga inosente. We all know that. Meron mga victims ng mga mistaken identity and all. So, sinasabi namin yun na hindi kasi may proseso tayo. Tsaka wala ng death penalty dito sa atin. So, dumaan dapat sa tamang proseso. Kaya, ang mga police, yung mga death squads na yan, hindi sila yung mag-judge kung guilty or not, yung mga suspects. Kundi ang korte pa rin, padaanin sa tamang proseso. Saka sinasabi rin namin, hihintayin nyo pa ba na may mabibiktima sa pamilya nyo na ganun din? Isipin nyo yon. Sinasabi nyo ngayon, ay okay lang yan. Dahil walang nabibiktima na mahal mo sa buhay. Hintayin mo pa ba yun bago ka magsalita at magprotesta? We try to simplify our messaging. Nahihirapan din kami sa umpisa. It's still really quite a challenge for us, but we're trying. We're trying our best. Ako nga, Ana Maria, hindi naman talaga ako pala salita ng Tagalog noon eh.
Yes.
Kasi I was raised, nung nasa probinsya ako, either yung local dialect namin
Bicol.
and English. So hindi ko na except for sa Filipino class.
Bakit si Duterte? Bisaya naman yung niya. Mas fluent siya sa Bisaya na
Pero ngayon, I try na I speak in kung pwedeng pure Tagalog or Taglish. Kasi ang goal is para maintindihan yung message mo. So you have to speak their language. Ang problema namin, hindi namin kaya yung style ni Mr. Duterte. Speaking the language of the masses, may kasama yung mga yung expletives, profanity, kabastusan, and then the sense of humor. Iba, we have to give it to him. We have to credit him for that. Meron siyang natural flair na mahirap gayahin.
Nag-postmortem ba kayo when Bongbong Marcos won in 2022? Kung bakit ganun katindi yung suporta ito sa landslide?
Yeah, within the inner circle of the Liberal Party, meron naman mga ganong discussion. Pero the first issue nga, is nadaya ba o hindi? Pero yung parang naging, I'm not sure if everybody agreed, pero ang parang dyan is that, maaring siya nga ang nanalo, pero hindi naman dapat gano'n kalaki. Dapat medyo dikit. Lalo na, yung mga crowds noon, we all saw that. Iba yung unprecedented crowds. So kaya lang, baka nga may basis naman yung sinasabi nila TNCO, nila Colonel General Eliseo, na baka yung unang dagsa nga, yun ang naging questionable the use of that single IP address, na napakabilis, and part of mind conditioning siguro yon. Naniguro siguro sila, insurance, na para talagang they would really attain victory.
Pero how do you explain the popularity? Hanggang ngayon, actually, tumataas pa nga yung popularity ng Marcos.
Kasi di maiwasan ng mga tao, yung mga, is now a choice between these two camps. Now, alin ba una nating aanuhin muna yung gagawa ng mga issue, greater evil. And many think that the greater evil are the Dutertes. Yung mga complainants, impeachment, ganun din ang pananaw nila. Na, and since nandyan na yung mga ebidensya, nandyan na yung mga revelations at mga hearings na yan sa House, then it's the proper thing to do, to hold her accountable by removing her through the constitutional process of impeachment because the grounds are there. Now, ang ano na lang are the political considerations, the element of time, is there still enough time to do that, and also how the House leadership and even Malacanang would play its role in this whole impeachment process.
But anyway, you got released under the Marcos administration.
Yeah.
What do you think of the administration
Okay,
now?
of course,
at this point?
I've been saying na, well, I'm grateful to the Marcos administration. Why? Because at least, nung sila na, wala na si Mr. Duterte, ay hinayaan na lang nila yung kaso. I have not heard of anything na may pressure dun sa, lalo na yung last case na dismiss. Kung buo pa yung unit team, malakas pa yung kanilang alliance, baka hindi pa ako makalabas ngayon.
Nung na-hostage ka, before that, did you ever get a death threat?
Bago ako nakulong, kasi wala na akong phone.
Bago na ako na.
Bago nakulong.
Okay.
Lalo nung kasagsagan ng mga house hearings, hate messages, including death threats. Isang isang mamong tao, isang mamong babae. So, isang bala ka lang, ganyan. Yung mga ganun ng mga, more than 2,000 hate messages, yung mga nare-receive ko noon at the height of the House investigations. The House
Medyo peaceful na ngayon, ano? O, sige. You
Yeah.
were talking about the lesser evil between the Rodrigo Duterte and the Marcoses. Siguro, alam ko na yung nasagot, pero I want to hear it from you. Sino yung lesser evil?
Sa tingin ko, I think it's the Marcoses. Although marami din silang mga issues.
I would
Umalis na tayo
like to
sa
ask
China.
you, assessment, then,
Yung
Marcos
At
administration.
least yun, tama yung ginagawa na asserting our sovereignty, asserting our sovereign rights in the West Philippine Sea at umaalma tayo sa mga pinaggagawa ng China, the bullying, na lumalala pa nga kasi may mga gamit na sila ng laser. So, but I think, pero kulang pa siguro yun. Dapat they should think pa of other remedies more than the diplomatic channels. Filing again another case at the proper international forum siguro. That should be considered. But at least, yung pag-alis natin sa China, unlike the pro-China policy of the previous administration, that is already something good. Kaya lang, hindi namin gusto yung kanilang sa ICC. Kasi hanggang ngayon, sinasabi nila, ayaw. Wala daw talagang jurisdiction. Na, although, nag-soften na.
So, lesser evil, pero may evil pa rin.
May evil pa rin, which resulted in all of these killings between 20,000 to 30,000 victims. Now, meron pa rin daw killings. I mean, I've heard of that. There is information that there are still killings of suspected drug offenders at the community level, but seldom reported anymore. But of course, less in number. Konti na lang. Tapos, wala naman tayo nakikita any indication that it is state-sponsored or state-inspired. Because President Marcos Jr. never said anything about that. I mean, saying na dapat ganon, na pinapatay na lang or what. In fact, it is sa SONA. Was it the last SONA? Sinabi niya na we are done with the extermination policy in so far as addressing the drug problem. So medyo okay, pero dapat ipakita rin na yung shift nila in policy, yung sa rehabilitation. So meron ba tayo talaga dapat yung rehabilitation centers sa community level yan eh.
He's being criticized by the Duterte camp for the softer approach to drugs. Anong tingin
But that is the right approach. It should not be the punitive. Only that, ipakita din dapat ng Marcos administration na when it comes to the drug menace, ano rin sila na firm din in terms of going after the syndicates. Yun ang and the supply side of the problem.
You think this is a political problem? You think it will affect the calls for clemency, for us to grant clemency, for President Marcos to grant clemency to Mary Jane De Los?
It may be a factor, but then again, siyempre isipin din na Mary Jane, well, how many years did he already was incarcerated in Indonesia? 14 years. And then she's claiming innocence. So we of course do not know ano talaga ang katotohanan doon. Mule ba talaga siya? Or unwittingly, o hindi niya alam na meron palang drugs doon sa luggage niya. Now, But then, isipin din yun na this woman suffered enough. And then she didn't know pati kung anong mangyayari talaga sa kanya. Especially so that it's been reported that former President Duterte actually gave the go signal, impliedly or what, for the execution.
Although they
Of,
clarified, sabi nila, you just follow your laws, di ba? Yan daw ang clarification nila.
Well, pwedeng ganun nga. But then again, you were not helping Mary Jane
Yes.
when you did that. Di ba? So, siguro isipin din, maybe hindi ka agad yung sinasabi nilang in deference, out of courtesy to the Indonesian authorities. But that should be considered. Dapat doon na muna yun sa Board of Pardon and Parole. Ganun naman talaga ang process. But for any pardon or any executive clemency, that should be assessed muna and deliberated upon at the level of the Board of Pardons and Parole, and they will submit a recommendation to the President. So maybe, hintayin na muna yon, yung proseso na yon sa Board of Pardons and Parole, kung meron, if of course, Mary Jane, maybe through her lawyer, will file the appropriate petition or application.
Seeing what's happening to Mary Jane, are you also thinking of possible legislation that you might want to introduce kung sakasakala related to this?
Yes, yung tungkol muna doon, of course, the stricter guidelines on nung pag-aalis ng ating mga OFWs, stricter guidelines that should be considered para how to save them from being victimized. Kasi yun ang claim ni Mary Jane Veloso.
Yes.
So some of those, and maybe there will still be some ideas that can be considered in terms of helping out, addressing kasi hindi lang naman si Mary Jane yung gano'n eh. Meron tayong mga ilan pa, mga Pilipino na nasa mga death,
Yes.
But of course, various circumstances. And some of them went through the judicial process of that country na maaaring tama yung ginawa based on their laws o may mga pagkukulang, may mga flaws dun sa process. Paano ina-assist ng ating DFA yung mga ganon na nasa death row na? What exactly are the help being given to them, the support? Kasi wala nga tayong death penalty. But then we have to respect the laws of other countries. But in every way that we can help to possibly save yung mga napupunta sa death row, dapat ginagawa. But of course, it's easier said than done.
Yes.
There's got to be really a more focused discussion on exactly kung ano yung mga concrete measures ng magagawa to do that.
Okay, marami pong salamat,
Salamat po.
Senator De Lima. Hindi po siya tumatakbo for senator. She's running for the House of Representatives.
Yes.
Thank you. Good luck on your quest and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Anna Marie.
Thank you.
My pleasure.